Hello, everyone. This is Marc Esposito on another episode, potentially the last episode, of interviewing individuals and their roles within the neurodiverse community. Today, I have a lovely parent that I've had the privilege of working with and her son. So, without further ado, here is my next guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gwen, and I'm the proud mom of Tyler. I am an older parent and guardian who has grown into an outspoken advocate because of my situation.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gwen, for being here today with me and getting to interview you in your local park. It's a beautiful day, a little warm.
Well, I'm glad I could provide the atmosphere.
Yeah. So, I know you introduced yourself, but can you tell us a little bit more about your role? You had said, you're an older mom and an advocate. Tell me a little bit more about that. What does that mean?
It means that as an advocate, there's nothing that you wouldn't do for your child or look to achieve for your child or look to attain for your child. There's nothing that you would not do to make their life better, because then your life is better. And their rights are the biggest thing and what they deserve and need. I've learned that challenges do go unseen. For instance, that these children learn far beyond the school walls. Four walls is not their only place of learning. Every situation that they're in, the grocery store, the park, the bathroom, any place is a learning experience for these kids.
So you find yourself advocating not just when he was in schools, but also outside of that.
Absolutely.
What's another area that you feel, I guess, as a parent and as an advocate, you weren't necessarily prepared to advocate for your son? Like, where was there anywhere that you were like, oh wow, this is new. I didn't read about this, or I wasn't prepared for this one.
What I think needs to happen is that there are so many therapies out there that are not recognized as valid, and that they need to be recognized because these children need a chance to be heard, especially the nonverbal individuals. There's so much inside of them that they can't express using their mouth or their vocal cords, but they can with identifying letters, or they can identifying words. I also think that it doesn't define them. It doesn't define them. What I also find challenging is that the Board of Education does not prepare parents who are coming in under early intervention with all the things they need to be an advocate for. And that disturbs me. They don't tell them about options.
What's one of the options that you feel could have been helpful at an earlier point in time that maybe wasn't presented to you?
Well, I've been very lucky. So I can't tell you from my own, but I can tell you from other parents that may not have known that they could have a parent advocate with them in a meeting, that they are entitled to an interpreter, that they are entitled to have a copy of their IEP within a certain amount of time, that they're able to get a copy of their IEP or minutes from the meeting. So certain little things may not seem that big to parents who don't have to go through this process, but is a big, big deal. And that's why it's important that our community remains our community, but at the same time teaches others. And every situation is an opportunity to teach others.
So then let me ask you, how did you learn about these rights as a parent? Did you speak with another parent? Was it trial by error?
At first, I think it was trial by error. However, because of whom I had dealt with in the district situation, I became very familiar. I became very friendly. I thanked everybody. If I went to see you per se at the district office, I went and I thanked the next person who helped me the time before. I never forgot anybody whom I had dealt with, and then I started working with them. So I learned as I went along as well, plus other parents who become your family. Because you could have family that love you and try to understand you as much as possible, but unless you're in the same boat, you can't ever really fully understand. The closest thing that will get to a parent is a teacher or a para or a coach.
It's true. It's very true. We we see parents, we see the student, we see the individual, and I know that we'll do anything that we can, right, within our ability to support them. Sometimes our hands are tied, but I think it's always appreciated when a parent will say, thank you, remember our names, and recognize that, we really care.
It is, because when they go to school, sometimes they're with the people at school more than they are with their folks. Mm-hmm. And nobody could understand more than the parents, the teachers more than the parents, but they are the closest thing that we're going to get to somebody that can understand their behavior. Even though I always kid parents and I say, when we had these children, that we had twins, the angel in school and the devil that comes home.
Lots of different challenges, huh?
Lots of different challenges. Every day it's something different. It's not even day by day, it's hour by hour.
I've seen a lot of memes like that about parents and their experience with their children on the spectrum, for instance, right? Like it's one person gets one side, another person gets another. It's almost like a multifaceted experience, huh?
That's why when they tell me, you know your child best, I tell them, no, I don't. Because I may know him at home, but there are things that happen in school that parents have no idea that their children could do. And really? You're kidding me. Nope. This is what they're doing. So that's why there has to be open communication between, I always had it between parents and the school and therapists, parents and therapists. Everybody has to be on the same page.
So then, are there any specific challenges that you've experienced that you'd want to share or speak on?
Sure. There is something called RPM. It's a communicative therapy. And I, being a witness and participant in the RPM with my son, I am experiencing his voice and the communication of others, which makes you so much more aware of how much are inside these individuals that may not otherwise ever be heard. And even though my son is considered technically verbal, when he does RPM and he spells out words, I look at like, where does he know this from? Or where does he hear this from? They're like sponges. They hear everything. They absorb everything. The dilemma is getting it out and expressing themselves. The other thing I wanted to share with the parents is the window is never closed. It may not be as open as it was when they were 5. It's still never, ever, ever closed. To never give up. You can get tired. You can have your little pity party for 5 minutes, and then you get right back to life. And the other thing is when you go into their world, it will help you grow yourself more than you could ever. They don't only have to come into your world. You have to understand theirs. And one of the biggest things is their disability doesn't define them. I never say my autistic son. I always say my son with autism. Because there's so much more to him than this.
So would you say one of the unseen challenges is really the misconceptions, not just about autism itself or neurodiversity, but also as a parent, like your approach is there's a misconception there.
There's a misconception about our approach. There's a misconception about what we allow or don't allow in public. So if you see a child having a little bit of a tantrum and the mother, right away, there are misconceptions. Oh, you're a bad mom. Without my thing is it's always an opportunity to teach somebody. So if Tyler is having a little bit hard way to go, I could say, my son has autism. he has a little difficulty with certain sounds or the environment or whatever, let me teach them. When he used to flap when he was younger, I used to flap with him, and I said, they don't listen to me either, Tyler. Or if a young child would come up to him, I would tell them, thank you so much for including Tyler or giving him attention. They thrive on this. They want this. As much as they're in their own little world, they want our world as well.
Yeah. One of the things that I run into is if I see an individual, out in public that I don't know, and I see a parent maybe having a hard time, a part of me really wants to just walk over and support, right? Because I want them to know I'm an ally. So what would you say is a good way for potential support providers or teachers or the people who have experience in this just want to let you know that they are an ally in that moment with you? What would be a good way for them to maybe express that to you in that moment?
To give you their opinion professionally and what they have come to deal with you personally, even though it's something that you may not want to hear. That lets me know that they care. Letting somebody know, this is how I feel, but I understand how you feel and what you're going through. That makes a very, very, very big difference.
So that would be, I guess, expressing some empathy, saying, let's say you were out with Tyler and, there was something going on and there was a potential ally right there in the aisle with you, and I guess giving you space and making some eye contact, just waving hello, being like, hi, I'm here too. Would that be a way?
Absolutely. Okay. I've done that to parents. Okay. I've seen a parent with a special needs child, maybe autistic, maybe just some other developmental disability. And I've gone over and I said, he's beautiful. You're doing a great job. I said, I understand my son is also autistic. I've gone over I see groups coming from programs in schools, and I go and I thank the staff for what they're doing. Or I'll go over to somebody and said, my son also, do you need any help? Could I be of assistance? They could tell me no, but at least I offered, and then they know that somebody is there.
It must be at times very isolating as a parent. Have you ever experienced that?
I don't think it's isolating in that fact, because it's so out there. Autism is out there. 9 times out of 10, somebody knows somebody, either friends or family, that have somebody with autism or a developmental disability. I find that it is still embarrassing at times, just like any other typical kid who's having a tantrum in the street or whatever. It's embarrassing whether it's disabled or typical. I find that it's okay, and it's still sometimes I get envious of typical kids when I see them, and I want that for my son as well. But that's okay, as long as it doesn't drag you under the water, and it makes you swim to the shore.
Wow, that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of
gives you incentive.
Yeah, and that resilience to just, even
Absolutely.
though you feel the pressures, right? You feel the enormous emotion and stress. You're still saying, I'm here. This is our situation. I love my child, and I'm going to do whatever I can to just be a parent to this child.
And make it better, not only for him, but for myself. And that's the other thing parents have to need. Don't forget yourself. You need to nurture yourself as well. And you need to take care of that. Marc tells me that all the time. His other coaches and people tell me, and friends tell me that all the time. And it's a privilege being with you and welcoming you into our family as well, Marc.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it is a privilege, because to work with any family, work with any individual, because you don't have to accept my support, right?
No.
Or guidance or help. And
no.
I myself feel that, like, this is my purpose. Like this community has given me more of a meaningful purpose, but I always wanted to just help people. That was always my goal. And when I get to do that, I'm 100% in, and you know that. And
yeah.
So how do you, we've talked about some challenges and stuff, and you've even mentioned, to push forward, to take care of yourself. How do you continue to, like, day in, day out, to continue to strive towards a positive day, towards a successful goal and the work that it takes to get there?
Like I mentioned before, you have your little pity party, and it's okay to cry. It's healthy to cry. It's getting all that toxic garbage out of you. It's getting all the feelings out of you. It's getting, and it does help. And to know that I have a phenomenal support system, that I can make a phone call and I have a shoulder right away. Or I started reading some affirmations, and I started saying, you'll get through this. You'll get through this. It'll be over. It'll be done. And you'll get through this. I don't have a choice. I was gifted with this child, and I guess technically I do have a choice, and I choose to fight. I choose to fight. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to throw all the hard work that we have put into my son just because of one incident or one development. So you have to keep going. You keep going for anything that you strive towards, and he will always be my baby. He will always be my child. And as a parent, you will do anything for your kid.
Sure.
That's the bottom line.
I believe that. I see it. You've shared some pretty intense battle stories, right?
Yes.
Where you yourself are in some very dangerous and painful, moments.
Absolutely.
And no matter what, you're always, you bounce right back and you say, "Yeah, I'm going to keep going forward." And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced not only verbal but physical aggression, be it outside or in the home. And I'm not embarrassed by that. That's just part of my child. And that's the acceptance that people have to learn also, that even though this is part of them, however, it's how people deal with him and the environment that he's in, whether that goes further or it can help decrease it. So it's not always and only their fault. It's the fault of others not being educated or consistent enough to carry on what needs to be done. So, and that's one of my consistency. Parents, if you learn one thing, consistency.
Yeah, consistent and consistently leads to predictability. Wow, I'm misspeaking.
I'll do it on your IEP, no problem.
Yeah, but it does help, right? It does allow for more predictable behavior and for the individual themselves to have the expectations met. So, you had mentioned it before about this program that your son attends, and you get to hear him, actually bring together his thoughts and his feelings into words. What are some of the recent, or even previous in time, successes that you've observed or been a part of
with him in this program?
Even outside of the program.
Yeah, even outside the program.
Yeah.
You learn their feelings. You learn that you just don't look at them cognitively, and you just don't look at them chronologically. It has to be one is not mutually exclusive of the other. You have to look on all aspects, and what you see of a child face value when you first look outside and you look at them physically is not all there is to this child. The behavior isn't all that there is to this child. For instance, with this new therapy that I've done, it's called Karen's Hope. And she asked Tyler, "Tell me about your autism." And he typed out the letters, unpredictable, which is absolutely true, because they could switch on a dime. On a dime. The other thing he wrote is he expressed himself saying that the first bit of knowledge I can give is that I'm living in a hell, you know? But he also has said that the train that he's been riding on, he has to get off and get on a new train towards a new self. So they understand. And also, when you think they're not listening to you, they hear everything. So if there's something that you want them to hear, but you don't want to be up in their face, say it from another room or make believe you're talking to yourself. They hear everything. They hear everything and they absorb it.
You know, in my previous interviews, when I asked the question about success, it varies, right? My favorite is when I get to hear about the self-awareness piece. I think that working in one of my early experiences was I was in a classroom. I was a paraprofessional, and I'm at the school, and I'm looking into the eyes of one of the students. And this was very early on into my career as a paraprofessional, and he was considered nonverbal. And I'm looking at him, and he was just kind of stimming at his desk. He was fixated on something, and I'm looking at him. I'm going, "You're stuck. Like, there's someone in there that wants out. Like, you don't want this, right? You want to be a part of, as you said before, you want to be part of this world." And I never assumed otherwise, but there is this drive that every individual has, and that's what pulled me in even more. Was as a student athlete, as an athlete, I'm always like pushing harder, and you see sacrifice and everything and resilience. And I look over at this student at the time, and I'm going, who's working harder than that person right now? And then as time went on, I met the parents, and I was like, oh man, they're working really hard. And so when I get to hear your reflection on self-awareness and the amount of effort given, it's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
And as much as you think they may not understand something, they do. Mm-hmm. And they are able to show remorse, and they're able to show reflection, and they're able to show love and concern, and they're able to do all this. They just need a chance, like everybody else. People get stuck at just what they see and they read and don't go beyond that. So that's why I take the opportunity I can to teach at any given moment somebody who may not understand.
So what else would you want others, outside looking in, to know besides, don't judge the book by the cover, understand that, what you're seeing isn't everything, knowing that the individual, that there's more going on within them, right? In their mind and their emotions, and they may not be able to express that. What else do you feel would be really helpful for those looking in to know?
Ask me. Don't be afraid to talk to me. Don't be afraid to ask, I noticed this. Is this? Yes, I'll tell you. I will tell you about it. I don't go into detail, but I will tell you. Don't be afraid if you have a question to ask.
That's excellent. I think that's something that we're seeing less of these days. Everyone's pretty comfortable with messaging and sending a text or even a voice note. I use it a lot. But then when it comes to like the real interpersonal engagement, now it's just people that we know, but especially strangers or, even people that we may think are allies. It's hard to just ask them the question and just see where it's going to go, because we don't know what to expect, right? But that's excellent.
And if you know somebody that has a child, once in a while, give them a call. How you doing? How's it going? How's so-and-so? Yes, you're going to see more males in this situation a lot of times than you do females when it comes to certain disabilities. Ask them, how are they doing? How's Tyler doing? You doing okay, Gwen? Is there anything that you can use? Or just go up and give them a hug. Just give them a hug. And I just want people to know that it does not define them.
Little goes a long way, right?
Absolutely.
So as you move forward in this interview, what do you hope the future to be for this community?
To not be denied the services that they should be getting. Do not, for lack of a better term, dumb anything down for them or the parents. To be able to walk into a place and be accepted. As it is, we do too much of that for people who are typical, and we make opinions, and we have opinions about people, and they need their fair share of space. And I'm learning to do that with Tyler. As much as you want them to act a certain way, sometimes, and Marc tells me this too, got to let them be themselves.
Yeah.
You got to let them be themselves. So they're walking back and forth in the house. So they're making a noise in the house, or they're walking. I do it with Tyler. He's walking, he makes a noise, he puts his hand on his ears. I'll stop for a minute, he finishes, and then we continue. There are certain instances, yes, where you'll have to tell them, to please put your hands down, but you need to be themselves. They don't need to feel rejected.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I think that's something that service providers, educators, parents, individuals themselves have all experienced at some point or another, where we've seen that kind of rejection, and man, does it churn your stomach, or it motivates you, right? It motivates you to want to work harder, to, like, as you said before, speak on it and share. And we start wondering, like, well, why is something that like that is acceptable, but if someone's just stimming and they're making a noise, or they're fixated on something, why aren't they just accepted, not just tolerated?
I mean, people do everything all the time. They shake their leg, or they tap their finger, or they curl their head. That's all stimming.
It's true. Very true.
If we were to be younger today, we'd all be diagnosed with something. All of us.
That's fair. That's why it's neurodiverse, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Gwen, is there anything else you would like to share with the audience as we come to a close?
Never give up. Never, please, never give up on your child. Never give up on yourself. Praise them when they do something. It shouldn't be always negative reinforcement. And be forgiving. Be forgiving. There are times that they may be doing something that you really want them to have consequences for their actions. But at that particular moment, it's just about forgiving and telling him it's okay.
It was all beautiful, Gwen. Thank you.
Well, thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Oh, absolutely. One thing I will also add, I think, you may have overlooked, was don't forget to forgive yourself, right? As the parents,
absolutely.
There's 1,000 books out there about how to raise a child, even those with disabilities, or to be neurodiverse.
But not on how to raise a parent.
Yeah, not how to be raising a parent. And yeah, you can forgive yourself. You can make mistakes.
You can make it. Yes.
But Gwen, thank you so much for the opportunity
to
interview and
being part of.
Oh no, it's, as I always say, it's a privilege. I know it sometimes gets a little corny when I say it, but I mean it. And
it went well.
We're still on, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're still on.
Okay, you see, we always want praise as well, so it's okay. I will admit it. I'm a praise monger. Okay.
No, it's
okay.
It's all good. Gwen, thank you so much for your time. For those who had the opportunity to listen, thank you. I hope you gained some insights, and it was able to just give you a little bit more information. And for the last 30 minutes, you were able to take your mind off of something else. It's been an honor to interview every single participant in this, and I look forward to doing more. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, or comments, you could always reach out to my contact information listed on my website. And until the next time, thanks again.